Who's that? Commander Claw. Who's bad? Commander Claw.
Welcome back to another episode of Breaking Brews. I'm your host, Commander Claw, and this is your first time visiting the channel. I'd just like to say thank you. Thank you for taking a chance on this, and hopefully you stick around and go through my channel and find more commanders that you're interested in. Even if you don't search, the YouTube algorithm will say, hey, check out this guy. But anyways, Cloud Planet's Champion, you're here because you like Final Fantasy. Or you are looking for a artifact equipment commander, and he's nothing short of that. Except for he is a little bit beefy with some pretty key words that just make him, I think, kind of out of control. Really out of control. And when I say out of control, you usually attach these type of equipments to give them his type ability. So without further ado, let me really talk about him. He's a Boros commander. Yeah. So Cloud's Planet Champion costs 3 red and a white, 4/4 body, legendary creature, human, soldier, mercenary. He says during your turn, as long as Cloud is equipped, it has double strike and indestructible. Equip abilities you activate that target Cloud cost 2 less to activate. This is like an aggro Voltron artifact equipment deck, straight up. Because most of the time when you equip artifact equipments to creatures, you're giving them the good ones give them double strike and indestructible. Then they have some other abilities. So I mean, you can equip a low CMC artifact equipment and Cloud has double strike and indestructible. What? Double strike? That means he's swinging for 8 damage if he's unblocked. Indestructible, he can't be destroyed. He can only be exiled. That's a lot of work. This is really good. Then his equip abilities activate cost 2 less to activate. So you already automatically think of the giant hammer that gives him +10/+10. If it costs 2 less to activate, that's just a win-win. This gives you a lots of options to equip cost for free. The only downfall for equip is that it costs that is at sorcery speed. That's the only downfall for equipment. But there's a bunch of creatures and spells that allow you to equip at instant speed. But without further ado, let's talk about some powerful equipments and some free equip costs. So the Assassin's Creed set brought us Excalibur Sword of Eden as a 12 CMC artifact, but this equipment costs X less to cast, where X is the total mana value of historic permanents you control. Historic permanents are artifacts, legendaries, and sagas. So yeah, your commanders are already 5 CMC. So that means this already costs 7. You're probably gonna have a bunch of artifacts on the battlefield ready for him to be equipped anyway. So you could really pay 0 mana for Excalibur Sword of Eden. Also, equipped creature gets +10/+0 and has vigilance. So if this is equipped to Cloud, he's double strike, indestructible, 14/4. Then it says equip legendary creature for 2. So you equip this for free. This is a free artifact equipment that can win the game. And he doesn't tap to attack because he has vigilance. What else do you want to do? What else? What else? And he's double strike. So if you block, your opponent's just gonna just lose their creature because it's a 14/4. Anyway, Sword of Feast and Famine over here for 3 mana. Artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +2/+2 and has protection from black and from green. I think that's going to be really important, given the protection from different colors, because if it can't be exiled, your opponents are going to have a tough time dealing with Cloud. Straight up. Whenever a equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, that player discards a card and you untap all lands you control. Equip 2. So once again, this is a free equip cost if Cloud is on the battlefield. Your opponent will discard a card and you untap all lands you control if it deals combat damage. And he has double strike. So you're going to be dealing damage to your opponent unless they block with at least uh, with enough creatures to not for the damage not to go through. What are we talking about here? This is abusive. Abusive. Moving on to free equip costs. So the reason why I'm looking like this is because this is every equipped mint commander's dream card. That's why I'm looking at this, because the more I start reading over these cards, the more I imagine Cloud on my side, and I'm just like, my opponents have no chance, which is what I want. Trust me. Let me talk about fighter class over here. It's a saga. It's a enchantment class. For Boros colors, it says when it ETBs, you search your library for an equipment card. That's great. We're going to look for Excalibur or Sword of Feast and Famine, as an example. You can tap Boros in 1 to level up 2. Equipment abilities you activate cost 2 less to activate. Cool, right? So possibly a reduction of 4 mana for your equip cost. All right, tap 3 in Boros colors, level 3. Whenever a creature you control attacks, up to 1 target creature blocks it this combat if able. So this makes combat to single combat, and Cloud has double strike. Yeah. So if your opponent's creature is not big enough to eliminate Cloud, your opponent will be taking that additional damage through double strike. Yeah. It's just amazing. I honestly feel like if I made this video different, where like I had a dry erase board, or just show how powerful your combat phase will be with Cloud, you could get it. Like new players, it might be kind of hard to imagine. Well, once you build a deck and play against your friends, and they're trying to assign blockers, and you just have double strike and indestructible, you're gonna see how much hate you're going to get. Like I got to tell you, Cloud has indestructible and double strike, and you just equipped a Cheerio of an artifact, a 0 CMC artifact on him for nothing. That's crazy. He can just literally sit on the battlefield. He can only be exiled. Only a Sword of Plowshare. It can be hit with a Beast of Burden or a Beast of Burden. Uh, yeah, you know that green card that says destroy target creature. Anyway, Forge Anew for 2 and a white. It's an enchantment. When ETBs, return target equipment card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Okay. As long as it's your turn, you may activate equip cost anytime you can do an instant. I told you that earlier. Instant speed will make this amazing. Then you may pay 0 rather than pay the equip cost of the first equipment ability you activate during each of your turns. So essentially, this card goes great, especially when you have to recast Cloud and you need to equip all those equipments back to it again. And you get to do that at instant speed. So if you have 4 equipments on the battlefield, 1 on your turn at instant speed for 0 mana, then you got your reduction price. But it's your opponent's next turn, you get the equipment for free. Next player's turn, you get the equipment for free. This is crazy. Moving on to my favorite card, straight up. We're going to talk about this Planeswalker because this is one of my favorite Planeswalkers to win the game if you're doing a commander, artifact, equipment, or Voltron type of build. Jessica Thrice Reborn for 2 and a red. Jessica Planeswalker, 0 loyalty counters. She enters the battlefield with a loyalty counter on it for each time you cast your commander from the command zone this game. For 0 loyalty, choose target creature. We're going to choose Cloud. Until your next turn, that creature would deal combat damage to one of your opponents. It deals triple that damage to that player instead. So, yeah, it's a 4/4 with double strike, indestructible. So if you happen to deal 4 damage to your opponent through double strike damage, 4 times 3 is 12. Now, imagine any of those equipments attached to it. I'm just talking about if your opponent had a blocker too. If your opponent doesn't have any blockers, oh my gosh, it would literally kill it. So if your opponent does not have any blockers and you swing with Cloud, that is a 4/4 with double strike, the first 4 damage will do 12 damage. Then the second 4 damage from the double strike will do another 12 damage. That is 24 commander damage. That is game over. That is game over for your opponents. So they need a blocker, straight up. Also, the reason why I said it like that, because with double strike, there's 2 combat steps in the game, just to let y'all know. In the ruling, there's 2 combat steps when double strike is going on. Just to let y'all know. So I'm going to let you see what these cards look like when they're paired together. So when you start brewing your deck, you're like, ooh, that looks nasty. This looks hot. You know how you get the heebie-jeebies and the little shiver down your spine when you're just cooking on your side of the battlefield? Yeah, let me show you. Look at that. Do you think your opponents have an answer for this? You're going to be swinging with a commander that's going to do triple the damage that he does to one of your opponents. Yeah, yeah. They like honestly, your opponents have to destroy the planeswalker beforehand, and that's tough to do on during your combat phase, unless they have a lightning bolt that says hit any target. If they don't have that, they can't stop this, and they need to do this before the combat phase. Actually, damn, they got to do that. They got to do that before you even activate the ability. They might have to. Yeah, you can put this on a stack. They hit it with a lightning bolt. It's too late. It's too late. Uh, so moving on to cards you may have missed. So your opponents will get creative. They will have ways to destroy your entire board state. So you have an answer. You're going to hold this card in your hand for the right moment, or you're just going to go with a Yu-Gi-Oh moment and pull this card at the top deck at the right time. Let me introduce you to the card called Open the Vaults. For 4 and 2 white, it's a sorcery. Return all artifacts and enchantment cards from all graveyards to the battlefield under their owner's control. That's not as bad as it sounds. Just because it's all your opponent's stuff, hey, they may not have anything in their graveyard. They may not have a board state or the amount of cards better than you. And also, this could be used as a political card to set up your opponent next turn if you make a deal with them to take out another opponent. So do not underestimate this wild type of card, reanimation type of card. Granted, I know there's better white spells that reanimate artifacts. I know there are, but I wanted to throw this in there for just a little twist, just something different. Moving on to the summer. Thank you for watching this episode of Breaking Brews for Cloud. This guy is an awesome Voltron equipment commander. It's got to be expensive. It's got to be expensive. There's no way. This video is out before the release comes out, before the set comes out, and it's going to be expensive. There's no way. I don't even know what to say. But what this card does, having double strike and indestructible just because an equipment is attached to it, and it can be a low CMC equipment attached to it, this is going to be a on-site kill commander, guaranteed. Thank you for watching the video. You know the easiest way to support the channel, just hit the subscribe button. Peace out.